Hey gang, John Bacarella. Hey gang, John Bacarella here with your Lake St. Clair Fishing Report, brought to you by Sportsmen's Direct. So we finally got some warm weather in here, and it's been fairly stable as far as at least the temperatures go. The rain has been horrible and the wind's been horrible still for the most part, but the lake is really warming up. So out there on the lake right now, you got 60 degrees just about everywhere. Some places much warmer than that, but it's safe bet to say you got 60 pretty much through all of the lake, okay? And then going down to the Detroit River. It's gonna be a little cooler up in the St. Clair River, but the main lake is 60 to 65 for the most part, and it's gonna go up and down, spiking a little bit with, when we get these sunny days. So what's that 60 degrees mean to everybody? Well, it means for the bass guys that the bass are in full spawn mode. So they're catching fish out there anywhere from probably 12 feet all the way into the shoreline right now. And you actually have fish out there spawning in that 10 and 12 feet of water because the water's so high. Remember, it's the bottom that really matters to those fish. And so, you got fish and water temperature. So you got fish spawning out deep and you got them going all the way into the shoreline, which is probably confounding some of you guys because you're used to just fishing in tight. So if you are in tight and you're not getting fish, start backing away and just find the right bottom structure and you will find those smallies. Now, for the walleye guys, walleyes are all over the lake, guys, still. And just like I said in the last report, it was like a week and a half ago, water clarity is probably the most important thing for you to focus on. They're catching fish throughout the lake, all the way from the Salt River, all the way down to the Detroit River, out in front of McInray's. I mentioned Salt River, the boat launch over by Selfridge, guys have been picking them up. Off the point at Metro, between the boat launch at Harley and Metro, along the beach, the 400 Club. I mean, they're getting fish all over the place. We even got guys fishing out by the main channel in like 20 feet of water that are doing really good. They're also doing well over on the Canadian side out in front of the Thames. So, and we still got the river going. We still have the St. Clair River, you got the Detroit River still going, albeit those white bass are starting to run down the Detroit River up on the upper end now. The lower end's pretty much loaded with them, but up on the upper end, and we're starting to get what we call some scouts up here in the lake for some of the guys that are out there casting or picking up the occasional white bass. So probably within the next week to 10 days, we're gonna have white bass up here in the main lake in force. But that still doesn't mean game over. It just means a lot of the guys short casting are going to have some fun. And if you got kids out there and they get bored catching walleyes, you can take them out and follow the seagulls and catch white bass too. But we're a little ways away from that right now in the main lake, so no worries there. Muskie openers this weekend. There's going to be some very happy muskie fishermen, I'm sure, because the fish are still in pretty tight, and there should be a lot of hookups this week. You got Walleye Tournament coming to Harley this weekend, so that's going to be an MWT event. I think there's probably going to be some miscellaneous club events going on, catch and release for the bass guys. So it's going to be a busy weekend for sure, especially if the weather cooperates. You can count on that. The panfish fishing is starting to heat up a little bit as well. Getting a lot of reports of crappies, both in the canals, in the back basin here at Metro, and I'm sure up in the north end it's going to be doing the same thing. Anywhere in tight where the weeds are emerging, a lot of crappies, and some of the crappies are pretty darn big that the guys are catching this year. So it's really nice to see those big fish. I'm going to talk about rock bass. Rock bass are in for you guys that like to chase rock bass. I know some people hate catching them, but for those of you that like to chase those rockies, they are in spawning now as well. Only thing I really don't have many reports on is the perch. But I think that's mostly because guys are out chasing anything and everything except perch. So we did have one of the local guys in this morning, and I didn't get a report from him yet, and he was going to head over by McInray's and try it over there in those weed beds. My guess is he's probably going to catch some fish over there, but like I said, nobody's really chasing perch, so I don't really have many reports of the perch for you guys. The carp, the guys that are shooting carp, the carp are all in, especially on these warmer days. You see them flopping all over the place, so you guys that like to go out and shoot carp with the bows, have at her, knock them dead, literally knock them dead. Man, I don't know if I got anything else for you guys. That's about all I have. I mean, there's a lot of fish to be had out there. For you guys chasing walleyes, don't be afraid to go in tight. Pay attention to that water clarity. That's going to be very important. Bass guys, have at it. You got fish all over the place. Muscamute, mile roads, you know, 9 Mile, the north end of the lake, Anchor Bay. I mean, there's fish all over the place. Move around until you find some active fish, and you ought to be really happy. Hey, if you guys really enjoy this content, please click the subscribe button and the bell icon so that you can make sure that you don't miss any new updates. With all that said, I'm going to let you go, let you get to it, and we'll talk to you maybe next week. So.